Hello and welcome back to another star-studded episode of Exquisite Conversation Podcast, and where we bring you the best news, media, entertainment, and we're going to be sipping on some really, really hot tea this evening. And so, with that being said, I am yours truly, King Jacob, owner, founder, CEO of Canard Music Management, Canard Media, and also of the Chatterbox with King Jacob and Big Mouth Media, and especially gets co-hosts as always on Exquisite Conversations and the Winding Down podcast. And to the right of me, I have the Miss Fabulous
Ashley Marie, repping the West Coast. I handle all of the social media, marketing, and all the strategy aspects of Exquisite PR. And then, of course, everybody knows I have a nonprofit organization called Word of Power for Youth, and I do a plethora of other things. But to the bottom of me, I have
Trell Washington from Sacramento, dancer of Sacramento all my life. Danced with the 916 crew for the Sacramento Kings, as well as the CEO of Sac Town Majorz.
All right, so let's get into the bulk of this. So you are the ever so famous Trell Washington. And it's definitely a pleasure to have you. And with that being said, let's talk about where this dance started at. And how did you evolve your dancing through the platform of what I like to call our cultural music, which is hip hop?
Yes, absolutely. I started growing up just dancing in the room. My mom bought me this camera that it was a black and white camera, and I was like, okay, you can record. That was when you could record on videos, on VHSs, and so I started dancing with that and dancing with Michael Jackson. That was my idol. That's where it got my dream from. And then from there, my mom signed me up, got me into these dance programs out in the community. That was Step One Studios. I danced with them for a long time, which they got me dancing with the Kings on the hip hop crew. From there, my mom threw me in some talent shows, and I traveled all around, went to New York for a dance school. So that was amazing. She just kept me in the dance. Ended up at Sac High. Went there. I started with the 34th Street and danced with them throughout high school. Was the only boy on the dance team. Held that down. And then from there, I just kept on dancing. I danced went to dance with Disneyland and down in LA, and did character work and danced in the parades or whatnot there. And so that was fun. I loved it. And I was like, okay, I still love dance. And that's when I got into teaching dance to kids. I'm like, okay, how do I give back to the community? And definitely put myself into that whole ball field of making sure I was dancing for the kids and supporting the kids. And so I danced with some of the teams out in Sacramento, but then I didn't like how everybody had their kind of just teaching dance and kicking the kids back out. I'm like, they need more than that. They definitely need to be coached, and that whole old school kind of teaching where they're like, hey, it's more than just dance. It's like how you live your life. It's how you are a person to other people. And so that's when I thought of, let me think of Sac Town Majorz, and I kind of create this environment for the girls to be queens. And so that's kind of my thing right now. And so, yeah.
Okay. So let's rewind it back. So you're from, Sacramento, California.
Yes, sir.
And so let's talk about the cultural process of Sac. So what is the culture like out there for us Black and brown people? Like, what is the culture like, and how do we evolve in the culture when we're trying to impact the community and grow the community, where we rebrand and we restructure the community so we can get it back to its true essence? So how is that culture out there, and how did that impact you being who you are within the community?
Definitely. First, it's got to be accepting. We got to be a community that accepts people that for their art, no matter if it's a boy, girl, whatever, whatever they doing is just how they feel. We got to let them express themselves. And I think that's one thing that the community let me do that got me where I am today. So we definitely got to keep that going. as well as we got to know how to have some events and not get it shut down. That's what I need from my people. We need to have these events that we can put on events so news crews come out, like the televisions, all that. Like Sacramento is lit and everybody moves from Sac and go and get lit. Like we can make Sacramento on the map. Like right now, Netflix, there's different videos and stuff of us on Sacramento. Obviously it's not the greatest, but it's on there. So we can definitely put our dancing and all that onto Sacramento. We just need to put us on the map, because you think California, they say LA, and that's just there's some stunners that come from Sacramento that go out there to put LA and all them on Sweetie, all them, like they don't claim Sacramento, and they all was raised up
in Sacramento. Yes. There's a lot of talented people that were
so,
raised in Sacramento.
So, and actually I just want to say I had somebody on my podcast on Big Mouth Media last night that's from Sacramento. Her name is Deja McCowan, and she just got a part in the movie called Pimptress, which is directed by Bobby Peoples and Renee Peoples of the Peoples Network out in Vegas. And so she was saying the same thing about, where it's a lot going on out there, but people need to diversify the great things that's going on out there, and not just look at what's going on, in the streets and stuff like that. But it's a lot of people that impact the Sac, and those are the people that we need to highlight. So upon you growing up, you understand the culture and you understand how to connect with your community.
Yes.
How did you connect with your teachers? So if usually people that dance, either sung in the chorus or they took some theater classes in school. So was that you as well?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. My mom, she was one of those ones that kept me in everything. She's like, oh, this is an after school program? I'm signing you up. Yeah, it was one of those. And so I was in plays. I was in all the stuff that I didn't even imagine. I was in ROTC. Like, she made sure I was in a program to keep me out of the streets, whether that was any kind of like an after school program. It was just like, you go in a couple of these hours to hang out with these people and figure out what they do. And so I love her for that. That's kind of the deal that I feel like we got to keep all of our kids into these academic things to do after school. They've cut so much from the arts and just those things, and not just like more than just a daycare. It's like, what are you doing with my kid? Those summer programs where they would take you to the movies and do that, like those less and less we have of those. And I know COVID, so coming out of COVID, I think that we just got to jump back in it, and we got to go even harder than we did last year, years prior to that, just to save these kids.
Right. I just want to cut in and say, for those of you at home, the audience, the host is in absence tonight. Celebrity publicist Miss Nicole Jordan. She's working on some huge projects right now, and so it's consuming up her time. So I do like to apologize on her behalf. So we're moving right along. With that being said, how many auditions do you think you have been on in your lifetime?
Ooh, good one. How many? They said no? No. I got a lot of no's. My one time, I remember in high school, they took us to our teacher, Miss Coleman. She took us to Alvin Ailey audition. And I swear to you, those dancers was in there twirling, twisting, and doing all kind of, and we was like, wow, like the competition level is just there. And so that is just that kind of, you got to have that background, like, oh, I can do this. You got to know it in yourself. And I think you got to have so many no's before you get those yeses. And then when you get the yeses, you appreciate them. Like, it's just not that. I think what they've lost is everything is supposed to be given to us. That's that new generation now. It's like, we don't have to work for anything. And so after getting so many no's, that makes you a better person. When you do get that yes, you appreciate it. So when the Kings gave me the yes for the first season, I was like, wow, they took me to India. Like, India games. And so that was just like amazing. And it was out of 6, and it was 22 people on the team. So they only took 6 of us. So that was just a thing of just like, oh my God, like I seen a whole new world that I would never have seen in my day, So just coming out of South Sacramento, I would have never seen that. So to have that opportunity and then to go back and they take me for a second season, I think that was just all in how you treat people and that raise of getting those no's to understand that when you got You treat
Okay. So, you know, I do have a confession to make while I'm on this live.
Okay.
So listen, you know, I have a baby sister, and I have a niece, Ebony, and so upon me, you know, visiting from Florida when I lived in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, upon me visiting, they used to watch this show called The Dancing Dolls. So I was like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I seen The Dancing Dolls mama. I said, So let me sit down and watch. But how she had those young ladies so disciplined.
Discipline for sure.
And like how she had them, you know, like wanting to understand the art of dancing, wanting to understand this is how you work hard to get where you at, wanting to understand that you have to exercise even when you're not in the room with me.
Absolutely.
To sweat so you won't be cramping up, wanting to understand that's your mama, but she's not dancing, you are. So if you're gonna listen to me or listen to her. So if you're gonna listen to her, you can go home. But this is my class. So your dance group, is that the level of competition that y'all do?
So I try, see, I'm a softie when it comes to that. I try to get that hardness out of me, but I'm like, all right, like, you know, but so this year that's one of the things I'm working on as myself to be a strong, because I actually got the chance to meet Coach Diana this year.
She's amazing.
She is like, she's awesome. She's an awesome woman, but she's very strong. You know, she got her, what she say, and you just like, whoa, and they just click. And I just never had to use that way to get to my girls, but definitely I think to get them on that level, to get that for that competition, I'm more of that community. I try to get them out in the community base and scene, because I want them to be, they feel that they're the next star. They can be seen by, and the community knows who they are. So when they go, oh, that's Sac Town, you part of Sac Town Majorz? Yes, like you see us, bright yellow, you see us when we come.
Right. So do you choreograph any type of music videos or anything like that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So tell us how you got into that arena.
Making contacts, honestly, it was just reaching out to people. Everyone, like, there's like, hey, we like how you deal with our kids. Can you do this music video? Or just that kind of deal. They see me out in Sacramento, I think, just having my face and working with people. I got to do E40's, one of his videos. It was just cool. Just like, oh, they like, oh, you gonna be an extra? I take the extra as a star role. Like, I'm extra, but that 1 second that you got me on camera, I'm about to show out. Like, you come, you show out. When you can show up, you show out.
Right. And so that's pretty huge to be in one of, you know, E40 videos, because, you know, he's a Bay Area legend and been in the game. And, you know, I tell people, man, like E40, man, he's so legendary.
Yes.
You know, just in the music world, not just the Bay. You know, it took people from other side of the country to get used to him, because his wordplay is a Bay thing. You asked me, you know, what I mean, you know, it was when I first heard him, I was like, you know what, who is this dude? I said, but you know, with me growing up, being, you know, like a Q fan, a Compton Most Wanted fan, MC8 fan, you know, Sugar Free fan, you know, a Spice One fan. So, you know, I've been listening to West Coast forever. So, you know, I've been listening to West Coast forever. So, with me seeing other people that rock with him, like, if my man Short Dog rock with you, you know, you something serious, you know what I mean? So with me knowing that Too Short rock with him, man, and with me knowing that a lot of people like Dub C, Mac 10 had features with him, you know, a lot of people like the rapper Pote, you know, he had features with him. So you know, with that being said, I was like, let me check him out. So once I learned about him and read about his business, and learned that he owns so many wine distilleries and own real estate, and he invested in Hewitt and Packard, and like, I was like, this dude's amazing, man. And so, you know, it just, and that's big for you to be one of them videos is big. So as far as you entering in, you go on film auditions as well, or what?
Not as much. I mean, not as more now that I'm getting older. We're rocking 32 over here, so it's still killing it. But I think before it was you got to get an agent. That's the agents get you into the that world, unless you just that you out there and are you repping yourself? It's either that or you repping yourself. Now they got more TikTok and you can blow up off of YouTube and stuff like that. They didn't have that when I was coming up. That was very at the end of it. So you definitely have to grind for yours and get in front of people and not be afraid to dance when somebody throws some music. Like that was your time to shine.
So,
okay. So go ahead, Ash. Go ahead.
So besides hip hop, what other types of dance do you do, and what other genres do you like besides hip hop?
Besides hip hop, jazz. I started out with ballet. That was one of the core. Modern. We also did West African. So just learning all those. Miss Coleman, that's one of my dance teachers from high school. Graduated from her. Like she really laid down the foundation from the denim to all the way to ballet before we got to do our hip hop. So that is one respect level that I had to take from her. It's like she gave us the foundation. You got to give some foundation, because some girls go out there and they be out there dancing, but it turn into a twerk, it turned into some kind of a gyrate move, and they don't understand their movement. And so if you don't giving them a background on what they move into and how they doing it, it gets that chance to be lost in so.
That is definitely one thing that Miss Coleman did do. She teaches from Catherine Dunham all the way on up. And I remember when we performed the Renaissance dance that we did. So, yeah, she definitely did teach us basically everything. She wanted us to be able to know how to do everything.
That's what I take.
Remember Polynesian? When
I
we
learned
had to
from
do
her
Polynesian too?
Say it again?
Polynesian?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, like, she went through all the different types of dance.
Yes, but the more I love and I vibe out in, it's the hip hop. Hip hop is something that you can put some music on, and that's a vibe.
It's a vibe, yeah.
Vibe.
So, this is a question. So, I have a lot of friends, right? And somebody just brought this to my attention. So, you have a dancer that's coming on. So, was he into crumping like Chris Brown?
I mean, I can do some crump, I could throw it. I can do some crump. I can do some crump like Chris Brown. I'm more of a glider like Chris Brown, though. I can glide for sure.
Well, okay. So a lot of people, when it comes to that crumping, man, like especially on the East Coast, up north, like from Philly, Virginia, DC, Connecticut, Boston. Those crumping contests was big. I'm talking about like first prize was like $10,000. You know what I mean? They were huge.
And like, hold on, let me get out there.
It's good. I mean, they come from the heart like that. Man, that they eat you up on the dance floor. But that's they so much pain and so much energy up into their moves, and it's like, man, okay, I was just trying to hit a little gig, but okay, I get it. So it's definitely a different kind of movement of dance when they come from there.
Right. So now, with that being said, in the industry of dancing, of choreography and things of that nature, right? So, what choreographers on the professional level do you want to work with?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean. Woo, Janet Jackson. I mean, if you said top Janet Jackson, I got to work with Danielle. I cannot think of her last name right now, but Danielle, she's an amazing dancer in LA. She came out and danced with the 916 crew. She's amazing. Just gotta look her up. Can I not think of her name? But it's Danielle Beast, I think. But amazing dancer. Another one, rest in peace, Aaliyah. I would have loved to be like dancing with her. Man, her style, just her groove. Yeah. That's one that I grew up with. That was one of my, I'm going to dance with her one day. I'm going to dance with her, but, life happens. But yes. So out of those two, I mean, That's about it.
So, it's a guy, man. I can't think of his name, but he played on the TV series Soul Food, and he's one of the best choreographers.
Oh, Daryl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just hear people like Usher and Cisco and all those guys talk about him, man. You know, and how really dope he is, man. I heard Tyrese said that he'll put 100 million up and put him against anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah, like real talk. Yeah, real talk.
Let's see them dance battles. We need to see them.
Right, and then you know, they also said as far as choreographer, I think her name is Debbie Ann Gibson. She was a choreographer Day 26 and Danity Kane.
But she used to do a whole lot of other stuff before though.
Yeah,
I can't remember what else that she did, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, and you know when
it's Catherine Dunham.
Catherine
Dunham. You gotta have it. Go Google her and figure and see what she lined up for us and how we dance. For sure.
But it's funny you say that, man, because a lot of people that I know on the West Coast, man, like I know some cats on the West Coast that's like ball players, some that's in the entertainment industry, but behind the scenes, they was saying that it's a lot of people in the industry that couldn't touch MC Hammer and them 357 girls. Yeah. I was watching a whole documentary on YouTube tonight on that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just think that, you know, like I was like listening at how MC Hammer just grabbed them and gave them a chance, and how, you know, one of them just was supposed to go to college and parents was mad.
You feel it all in your bones, don't you?
Yeah, but
MC Hammer is tough, boy. Oh boy, look, that's some tough money right there. That's
yeah. So you know, with that being said, man, like the level of dancing, man. How do you teach children to understand the art of it?
I mean, honestly, it's bringing it down to what they learning these days and what they hear about. Like now that I wasn't a big fan of it at first, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Those TikTok dances, they was starting to hit. Like you like, but you doing only a minute routine. Like if you just put a whole 3 other minutes into that would be a full routine. But it was that TikTok and I'm learning those quick dances, which I'm just like, no, we gotta, what's your passion? Let's bring it back to express yourself. Like if you mad because you got into a fight at school or whatever the case may be, it ain't going right at home. Let's express that through your movements. Now let's go full out and, you know, let's go 75%. But you kind of built that up and then they feel that. And that's where that you see them when they perform it, then it's like, okay, now let's put that performance level on it. So you're entertaining. And then that's when people come to you like, oh my gosh, like they can watch a competition all day and they be like, y'all might have not won, but y'all was the best performers. Like you guys were the ones that entertained us. Like y'all routines didn't come out and look like anybody else's. And that is what I try to beast in these girls. So, you know, it just works. Like that's one of those things like, hey, we might not take first place, but I guarantee you that everybody gonna walk past you and tell you like, you guys were amazing and y'all showed out.
I can testify on that.
Interesting.
Look,
interesting.
them babies be dancing their heart out.
Hey,
right.
It works, and that years later, I've gotten like, hey, you were my coach for yada, and I didn't forgot and moved on, and they just like they women, they just strong queens, and I just love that, and so that was kind of where I live for the majorette world. I'm trying to work on like give me a boys team now too, because I feel like we need to get some boys, but I just haven't got into that. I took the majorette hip hop, and that took off once I seen the DD4L, you know, so I seen that. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And I tapped into it. And then I seen it was for the black colleges. I'm like, oh, what a better thing to get like, I didn't get to go to a black college. That's one thing I wish I would have did. But, you know, like that is just, I'm like, okay, and then I seen the dancing. I think the first one was Drumline. When I seen that movie and I'm like, oh, okay, is that what that is? Like, it blew my mind on like the fun of all that, you know, so.
Right. And we have in the comment box, you know, Celebrity Publicist Nicole joined. She says hi to the team.
I see now. I'm like, okay.
She says hi, Trell.
Hello.
You were.
I don't know how to type and do all.
Right, and yes, Nicole, we are having an amazing time. We just chopping up with Trell, through his journey and things of that nature. So,
yes, Miss Nicole.
So Trell, tell us about, man, as far as a lot of times when it comes to dance, and a lot of people don't know how to get into the audition,
okay,
to be on tour with a person that needs dancers on their tour that may not have dancers. So how does one get on tour with dancers, as far as like if somebody was coming to a city, right, and they was doing a tour in the city and they needed particular dancers for that city, like say if Cisco was coming, or say if somebody like Sierra was coming and they needed so how do you guys audition for professional gigs?
Definitely. I mean, one is to tap into your city and find out who's the hottest dance studio. That's one big thing, is to be at the big dance studio, so they know that, like, well, they know where to get the dancers at. You gotta find that deal. As well as if that's not working, you dancing from the out of home, that's cool too. I mean, looking it up online, Google is a wonderful thing of you just typing in who is, like, when is the auditions at. Most of them do ask that you have an agent. Some of them don't. It's just kind of that deal. But what it is once you get in, that's where you got to do your magic. The game is not over once you make it into that first audition. It's treating everybody that you interact with on a positive game, so they remember you, because that's how you make those connections so they call you, and that's how you keep up in the game once you get in. It's easy to get in, it's how you stay in, because you get that attitude. Some get that attitude like, oh, I'm too good, I didn't book Beyonce, I don't, and they won't get booked for nothing else. But if you can't do that, you got to treat people the right way, and that's how you kind of stay into the game. So it's more like anybody can get into the game, but it's how you stay in there. That's what matters. Okay,
so tell us about your experience in Disney. And tell us about your experience in India. Like what was that experience like?
I mean, Disney was amazing. That they teach you a foundation. I started out with the Disney college program, so that's kind of how I got into it. I knew I wanted to work at Disney. I didn't know how to get into, so I did the college program, signed up for that, went out there, and I did 2 days. They had me in the photo department. And I was like, oh, this ain't me. I can't do this. This is not for me. And I said, Lord, please, come on now. We just about to work this magic. I went up to the boss of the entertainment crew and I said, please, let me audition. I promise you that I will give you a mouth-dropping performance. And she said, you come to the next auditions. I was the first person out of the college program to go to the entertainment auditions and shut it down. And I came down as being Pluto, Eeyore, Rafiky, Lion King. That was just amazing at that, and they loved me for me being my personality and getting to dance like that. So I'm like, man, just doing that, having the guts to ask for that, yes, they might say no, or she was like, oh, you gotta wait for a couple of minutes, but no, it was like, okay, I'm gonna give you that shot. So have confidence in yourself. That's one. India, crazy experience. I mean, I'm black. I'm a black boy trying going to India, flying on we getting off a private jet, and that was just amazing, because I was the only black boy there on the 6 of us. So I'm like, all right, let's go. And it was just cool because they just treat us with royalty, and they had nothing. A little of nothing. It's just no streets, no the kids, and everybody had a smile on their face. They were just happy. They were still. And so that India really brings you to that, okay, ground you and make you appreciate the stuff that we have here.
So it's very humbling experience.
Yeah. Definitely humbling. So that was just, and we danced on they called Arabian Sea. So that was what? They made a boat for us to dance on. So it was the experience of that. It was just breathtaking. I don't think they would. And so I knew that they could not top that from the next following year. I mean, we just danced at the games. The Kings, I love them. They, always the best. The games, I don't know, we can't play much, but we always go out there with heart, we
right.
ain't gonna talk about
you funny, man.
we always out there with heart.
Look,
great
we love y'all,
experience.
Kings.
And that's always one that, like, if people in Sacramento, like, you go try out for the Kings. That's that's the step. You get your name out there. It's all about just loving your city. You gotta love your city as much as you want them to love you.
Right.
So I did hear when you was talking about Disney, you did mention the Lion King. Let's talk about that, man. Because
could you do
because they made me
you
run
like Lion King? He was like, what?
Yeah, like because when you talk about the Lion King, man, you gotta whether you're a parent, whether you're uncle, whether you're auntie, whether you're a big cousin that have really sit there and babysit and watch kids, man.
Yes.
If your kids ain't seen the Lion King or your nephews or some, shame on you. You know what I mean? Because what it is, man, when they made the Lion King 2,
yep.
I heard a person that worked at a movie theater said that it was more adults in there than kids. And so when you said the Lion King, it kind of like raised up an eyebrow. Like I kind of felt like The Rock, I kind of smelled what you was cooking. So I'm like, what? Like the Lion King. So let's talk about that experience, man.
Man, I got to be Rafiki. That was the baboon Lion King. So
right. I mean,
that's all. I mean, the experience was amazing. I got to be in that environment and just dance and go out and do sets. I mean, it was cool. It was a cool experience. I got to act like a monkey. I mean, it was in a way of like that way. If they respected it, it wasn't like, oh, okay, who is this? And they don't know who is in the costume, so it's like, okay, cool. But it was one of those experiences that you're like, all right, I got to be in the Lion King. Okay, cool. Like, good. I mean, Disney keeps it very that they keep it on a rotation, that they're very good at like, okay, this is our show, this is how we do it, and we get that to the people every single time, every single night is that kind of deal. So it's a great show though. All
right, so upon doing that, man, I was reading that that you're a youth advocate.
Yes.
As far as when you're teaching your classes and when you're registering with the youth, to try to get them to see things in a much better light. What are some of the conversations that you have with your youth?
I mean, much of just the ones that they experience every day at school when they're like, hey, I almost got into a fight. It's like, okay, did you use your words? Like, and what express to us, how did she make you feel? What did you feel that you needed to do next? All the way from that to all the way down to hygiene. I mean, stuff that you would think like, oh, your parent haven't touched that. It's just little things that we all miss, and you forget that it's a community building these kids. So it's something that the mom didn't miss of like, okay, showing up on time. Like it's either, I was taught that if you're on time, you late. If you're early, you're on time, I was late today. So it's like, okay, like that was that. And so you figure it out and immediately like, okay, when are you doing wrong and when you messing up? So you're able to correct it faster. So that and so I think it's more just giving the knowledge of like, hey, this is is this how it made you feel? Okay, now think about, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. This is how they feel. So it's easier for that. So when we go to competitions and stuff like that stuff don't faze them. They excited just as first as they excited as they get third. Like that don't faze them. I think that I appreciate that more than us going to the competition thinking they gotta win and they gotta take home something. Like it's more of like, what experience did you have?
Right, experience.
I think, that it works with that. That's kind of our deal. And so we kind of do with that, and we teach them home economics, that kind of basic thing. So it's just like fun stuff that they interested in. We do like a video shoot. So we kind of put them in that. So if they ever want to grow up and be in a video, we do stuff like that. They get to take home a video and show our posts online. So that's that kind of deal. But just getting them some more stuff, the community events as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question, then I would like to ask you to follow up with it. So,
okay,
with you being a youth advocate and what you're dealing with children, man, how difficult is it to talk to a parent about their kids?
Woo!
Because you definitely have a parents who don't want to listen about their babies, and when you're trying to tell them something to enlighten them, to help them, understand about it. Because a lot of kids go through hardship, especially when they're not both parents in the home. and those hardships come out at school, and they're disruptive, and people don't know why they don't want to follow protocol, and so we try to. If you have an after school program or a program that helps kids, and you try to tell parents what you see from the outside looking in, and they get offended. And so, how do you handle those conversations?
I try to be not one to judge. That's my first thing, is don't judge nobody, help to understand. I always help me understand what you need from me. How can I help? Once I see a situation that don't look right to me, I immediately start asking questions. I'm one to hey, is this something? Or if they feed it to me, I mean, it's either way, but it's more or less you can't help nobody that don't want to be helped. And that's the hard part of where it's hard, where you hit that wall. So it's more or less you got to go in there asking hey, this is what we can do. We need a ride after practice. I see that you always late to pick up your kid. Can we figure out something else? That is, you got to address it. Because sometimes parents, I know they got parents, but they didn't get that teaching, or sometimes they might have never had that experience that they had to come tell their boss or a teacher that they keep being late, and they just keep on doing it until somebody have a problem with it. So it's just more, you got to understand that people help people. It's not, help to understand. That's what I kind of do. I always try to talk it out. Always trying to make it, bend. I think I bend too much. And that's why I'm okay, I'm a youth nonprofit, because I'm I always trying to make it my star dancer, she might have most problems at home. And so that's, I'm and then how do I fix that? I'm trying to make sure that she good. As much as she feel good at dance, she feeling the same way at home. And however we can do that with our company, that's what I definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to piggyback off of what he said, basically, yeah, same thing. I definitely how we are with our children and getting to know them and different things like that. It's the same way with me trying to get to know their parents, because parents go through everything, and nowadays parents got jobs. They got 3 jobs. They got the kids. They're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. So sometimes just being who we are as youth advocates in the community, and just giving them that extra little support, hey, you do have support. You're not by yourself. We're here to support. Yes, we're here to support your child, but we're also here to support you, because without you, they wouldn't be here either. So being able to help in that sense. And I know something that we did, I had took a class, and it was basically Be a Parent Champion. It's a book by a lady that's in the Bay Area called Tavi Scruggs. It's an amazing book. But I suggest anybody just read it. You don't have to be a parent, but it just basically kind of just teaches yourself, how to be, more patient with your children, and, how you can help them, more as a parent, be more involved in the things that they do.
Right.
So building that village with, with your your students, and then your parents and stuff like that. That's basically how we grow. So if we don't have that village, then what are we doing?
Yeah, definitely open up.
Right. Okay, I understand. So, from the nonprofit sector, and both of you guys have nonprofits. So, and I ask this question a lot because I want to know, because I'm a male and I walk on American soil, and it's not that kosher for us males to walk on American soil, because we might not come back home. For real. And so with that being said, to restructure and rebrand the community, to have a strategic plan for community development, what does it start at, and what has to be a person's mindset to move forward with this plan?
Creator mindset for sure. And also just being able to, all of us being able to work together, because if we're not working together, how are we going to provide for our community? How are we going to be able to do all these different things? And I've seen where we have worked events and different things like that, and people, you try to work with other people, but they feel oh no, I don't need, I don't want to work with you. I need to, I want to do it on my own. We have to, come together to keep building. You can't just always do it by yourself or feel like you're in competition with everybody. Yeah. So we got to let that go. We got to change that narrative, so that way we're better able to help our community by coming together, building partnerships, and building the foundation.
Absolutely. I was helping buying black, helping spending our money. But when I say that, I want the same kind of quality. If I was to go to Target, I want the same kind of quality that I go to Walmart. And that's where we I feel like it falls. So us buying, like, if I go to the hair salon on Florin where the Asians, they run it and they gonna have every product I go. If I go to the Black Soul brother on the, on Freeport, he got missing and 6 things. It's like, come on, we need to have our stuff on the same level as them so we can buy from each other, like that kind of deal. And we only deal with each other like that in our communities. That's what's gonna definitely help as well.
Where's our black grocery stores?
Yeah.
Where's our community black grocery stores? Like, we need to bring all black owned a lot of stuff. Like, we need to have.
And then when we have these actually events or we have these salons or stuff like that, we treat them well. We treat them like our own house. Them funking and fighting in the parking lot and all that gotta go. Like,
they gotta stop.
They gotta stop. It gotta, like, you gotta let it, because we can't. That's what's tearing us down. Because I wouldn't want to go either. Black and all, I still wouldn't want to go. Like that. So that kind of deal is like, you got to make sure it's safe environment that we hosting parties that everybody going home and they can say that was a good night. Like, right. So that kind of deal. So,
Mom chimed in the back. She said, we got to love each other.
Yeah.
And that's true. That is so true. We do need to love on each other for sure. We have a question too. He said, how hard is it to start a nonprofit?
Oh, it's hard. About that paperwork, the paperwork is what gets you, but you got to have the passion first. If you got the passion, it's nothing is hard. If you got the passion for it and you got that, like, it gives you that fire inside, nothing is hard. It ain't hard at all.
Yeah.
I will say this about a nonprofit. You do have to have one position that has to be fully secure, in my personal opinion. You've definitely got to have a treasurer that you can trust.
Oh, for sure. I'm like, where he going?
I'm like, what? Look, let me make sure I got that. What is it?
That is definitely for sure. There is a lot of stuff that happens within nonprofits, and a lot of employees or founders or board members who do like embezzle, like. But who want to do that? You want them felonies? You want all of that? Like, who wants to do that? Like, we're here to support our community. Let's support our community. Like, don't take from it.
People don't think about that, man. They don't really think about that. All they think about.
We got to change the narrative.
Listen, man.
Change the narrative.
Listen. I got to be able to. I got to be able to leave $1 million in the room and walk out and know that it's gonna be there when I get back. If you my treasurer for a nonprofit,
yeah,
absolutely.
Like facts, man. Like you got to be able to trust your treasurer. You got to be able to trust your secretary, because the minutes that she keep is what has to be reported. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you also got to be able to trust your board of directors, and you got to hold their asses accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
She said, like you know somebody that. She said, So can you please spill the tea? I mean, I'm not sitting on the couch like Steve Harvey crossing my legs, but I need some of that tea as well.
No tea over here. Look, no tea over here.
Look, hi, Mama Bev.
She said, look, Mama Treasurer.
Right, but man, you can't trust everybody, baby.
It's everybody. When everybody believe in the dream, and because you honestly, I hear all the ones. What Selena, what was the lady that killed her? Like, it's just crazy who your close circle is. Like, after COVID, my circle got real small. It got real small. So, and I didn't realize I didn't need that many people around me to get what I needed to get done, and so. That is one blessing out of COVID. That it's like you realize that you need a small team, but once you get your small team, that's what you run with.
Yeah.
So with having a nonprofit and really connecting the different things with nonprofit, as far as you're connecting different fundraisers that you want to do, and like you might want to do autism awareness. You might want to do lupus awareness, or you might want to do, something to grow awareness for kidney failure. And so, with that being said, how do you, as a nonprofit, put these functions together where the public would want to attend, will want to donate, and want to actually get you on a news channel or a live radio segment with the number one radio station in Sac? So how do you guys connect with those sectors to really help grow the nonprofit so people will know about who you are and what you're doing within the community?
I'm glad you asked that. So I'm working on a new project. It's basically going to be a dance program for autistic adults. They have autistic day programs right now that they drop their clients off. I work for the company, but Alta Originals, they handle autistic people developments, and they put them in day programs, and they're in school from 8 o'clock in the morning all the way down to to 3 o'clock. Well, I'm making a program within my nonprofit of that. We'll go to the day program and we'll teach them a day of aerobics or an hour and a half of dancing, and we're dancing to the hottest hits like Michael Jackson, and that's one of their fundamentals that they can hear music and they love with that. So that's funny that you asked that, because I haven't dropped that yet, but that was a new little drop that I'm working on that as well for our nonprofit. And I think that's going to hit the ground coming out of COVID like fire. So it's in the works for sure.
Drop us some tea. You got some tea.
Okay. So I see during this pandemic, during COVID-19, it kind of punched people in the face. COVID did, and I'm gonna tell you why. It gave people the mindset to understand that you could have been an entrepreneur your whole life. So COVID kind of pushed them against the wall, where the jobs was closing down, businesses was closing down, and they had to figure out something to do. So how important do you think people understand the level of entrepreneurship now since the pandemic has hit?
Oh, I mean, definitely. Like, even from that to even with the gas prices, I went out and got me a Tesla. I'm like, man, because these gas prices, and then looking now, gas prices $5. Like, so just
back up, man.
Yes, you heard.
Hold up, man. California, the California loving, the California dreaming. So gas prices is $5 in California.
Yes.
I think I seen earlier today it was like $5.19. I was like, what is this? I'm like, don't make me want to go back to a hootie. I don't know, man. I don't know if people gonna start, buying bicycles or buying horses and get them a carriage, and I don't know if you guys gonna start living like the Amish. I don't know, man. But
you see it happening around you. You gotta start making moves. You gotta,
exactly. That is for sure.
Like you said, it made us all feel like, oh, I don't want to go back to work. I could be my own boss. That kind of.
Ooh, Mama said $5.39. Where's that at, Mama? I ain't going there.
$5.39.
Oh,
okay. Well, I can tell you this. Over in South Carolina, man.
Don't tease us now.
Listen, man. I was at the gas station earlier today, around about 3 p.m. Gas was like $3.69. So as I go back out tonight, gas is $4.01. Oh, bro. I was.
Did you get gas? Did you get gas at night?
I was at the gas station not long ago. So you mean to tell me it went from $3.69 to $4.01 in some hours?
They got you.
I was like, you know what, man? They doing the most. They doing the most. And this is what I'm gonna say. For those of you who out there that act like you can't sit still, them gas prices gonna make y'all ass to sit still.
kind of like how we had our ass sitting still during COVID.
Yeah,
We were stuck in the house.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. So with that being said, man, I just want everybody to be safe, man. But there's been a lot of entrepreneurs, man. When this pandemic hit, people really went into their savings. They put their little money out. They got the LLC started. They started taking online marketing and branding publicity classes. They started learning more about the foreign exchange market, Coinbase, cryptocurrency. People was really, really on it. You know what I mean? So what I can say is it made people put their thinking caps on. You know what I mean? Because so many people was just used to, okay, going to work, taking care of their family, but COVID said these jobs needed to shut down because it was unsafe.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't safe for citizens. So I think it kind of gave people that get up and go, which I lost a lot of loved ones to COVID. So I hate COVID. Like it can kiss all my black ass. I hate COVID. You know what I mean? For real. It get on my nerves. It get on my nerves. So with that being said, man, I'm just glad to see people out there who have nonprofits, who still have those big hearts to really be a humanitarian, to really help people, because there's a lot of people in the world that need help, and it's a lot of people in the world that's still grateful for help. So those of you guys that have nonprofits, or those of you guys out there listening that want to start a nonprofit, I tell you, go for gusto. Go ahead and start it, man. Because, having a nonprofit is something that people really don't understand, man. It means a lot to the community, and it impacts the community so much to, people be like, man, this person, I didn't know that he was that guy, I didn't know that she was that lady, but this is really something I see in them that I'm glad they really brought out to the public eye. So shout out to everybody that got a nonprofit. I take my hat off to you, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Paper is a lot, and dealing with the public and these different egos and want to know why you doing this and why you doing that, or how can I do this? How can I do that? I will tell you how you can do it if you only discover the art of listening.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's what's wrong with our people, man. We haven't discovered this art of listening. There's so much power and passion and persistence when you listen.
Absolutely.
So as celebrity publicist Nicole Jordan will always say, we should remain coachable and teachable no matter what.
Yes, I love it. You don't learn something today? What?
Right. So, and I definitely love that. So, guys, we didn't got some of the hot tea from one of Sacramento's finest, Sac Town, and we had Ashley Marie on here as well, man, and she from Sac Town too. So she from Sac Town too. So they kind of had the same teachers and navigated through the same culture, and that's what's up though. That's peace. So I just want to know, what's your upcoming project, and how can people find you that want to connect with you?
Well, they can find me, sactownmajorz.org. That's our website, as well as Trell Washington on Facebook. That's always another way that you can reach out if you have anything that you want me to come hang out or come teach a class, book us, whichever, like that kind of deal. But I'm always working out in the community, so there's a way. Like, please reach out. We can make something happen. We bring our girls, whichever the case may be. Like, we can work something out, have an event. Definitely sactownmajorz.org.
Okay. So, do you have any special Zoom meetings that you have coming up that you want to invite other nonprofits on, and so you can connect with different nonprofits from across the country?
I don't, but we do have our auditions that we have coming up. That's on, what day is this on? March 14th. The location's at Hoop Skill Gym, 852 Northport Drive, Suite 105. But you can definitely check all that out at sactownmajorz.org. But yeah, we have our auditions coming up. We plan on getting into the community this year after COVID lifts all the way up, so we can get up and have those community meetings and reaching out to the community as well. But right now, we're just trying to ramp back up from everybody having COVID and everybody being not sick. That was our whole thing. We had to shut back down because everybody was like left and right. One person would get sick. So coming out of that, but we're going to definitely get into more stuff. Always check us out on Facebook, Sac Town Majorz, or, you know, Ashley, she always posts stuff too as well. Like, definitely, it's, you know, we try to keep it up, but stay tuned for sure. It's coming.
I like to say one thing. Support your small nonprofits, man.
Please.
Support us. Like, we are out here hitting the ground running. Trell is out there hitting the ground running. Y'all need to support your smaller nonprofits in your community. So just support, because we are there for our community.
Right. And like you say, support, and support them more.
Support.
For sure.
All the way.
And support don't always mean money. That means just coming out and talking about us. Like, talk about us. You know, like, bring us, just invite people. Like, did you hear about so-and-so? I tell you, that works more than sometimes
word of mouth.
Yeah, so definitely continue to keep reaching out and keep on talking about us. Thank you for inviting me out on this. This is my first time being on a podcast. I'm like, hey, let's do it. Like, so that I cannot.
So this your first time?
This is my first podcast. Yeah.
Okay, so we got the exclusive. How about
you
that?
Got the exclusive. Look,
yeah,
I can't wait.
Exclusive on the exclusive.
Right. And so this is what I want to say to nonprofits. You know, I know a lot about, you know, procedure and policy when it comes to, you know, out your local government, you know, your high-end government and all that. But in your city, in your state, in your county, there's a lot of grants out there for you locally. And so you need to connect with your city councilman. You need to connect with your president at your local chamber of commerce. Okay. You need to connect with your mayor. Thank you for the educational grants. Please connect with your local school superintendent or the president of the school board that's over the district, because they can point you in the right direction when it comes to statewide education grants.
Okay. Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. And that's this year, I'm going to definitely do that for sure. I'm stepping in. I'm throwing on the suit. I'm walking in and I got stuff to say.
No doubt, man. So we definitely want to thank you for coming on. We want to give a shout out to your mother. We want to give a shout out to my man, Crystal. You know, Crystal is you know, one of my homies that tuned in tonight. He's a phenomenal R&B singer. He's a phenomenal leader, great public speaker, and he's gonna be starting a nonprofit. So, and I'll be plugging him with both of y'all. So, you know, because your net worth is your net worth. So,
thank you.
Hey. You know what I mean? So, but until the next time, we're gonna say, you know, it's been very exquisite in this conversation with Exquisite Conversations podcast. And none other than Trell Martin and Miss Ashley Marie and yours truly, you know.
Did you say Trell
Martin?
Trell Washington, excuse me. Trell Washington, excuse me. None other than Trell Washington. And, you know, his nonprofit is out there, so you don't have to be local. You don't have to be local to support, but, you know, you can support nationwide.
Nationwide,
you know what I mean? Please. So he's looking to connect with you guys, and thank you so much once again.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.